Good morning, Queen Quamo. You don't need no damn cable. Good morning, it's Quamo. You don't need no damn cable. We got Quamo in the house. Quamo in the house. Welcome to my podcast. We keep it real. Come and take a little sip and drink some chill. Listen to my podcast. Tell your mammy, tell your sister, tell your daddy. I talk about everything from politics to comedy. Listen to me, cause ain't nobody stopping me. I got so many episodes that you can't count. Listen to my podcast before I smack you in the mouth. Hey. Good morning, y'all. What's up? I want to thank all of y'all for choosing the Queen Quamo podcast. So, y'all sit tight. Well, go ahead and get right into this episode right about now. Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, April the 20th, 2018, and you're listening to the Queen Quamo podcast. I know my voice sounds really, really scratchy and raspy, and as you know, my voice comes and goes like this a lot. And then I think a lot of it comes from podcasting and talking so much. And also, I'm having some sinus issues, so that probably isn't helping. But yes, I sound extra scratchy and smooth tonight. You feel me? Like I'm on WSMK. Yes. No. As promised, though, I told y'all that on Friday, I was going to have a podcast episode ready for you guys talking about either HIV or cancer today. So I think what I want to do, I want to talk about HIV. This is a conversation that the people of my community definitely need to have. And we need to know the facts about HIV, not just the rumors, not just being scared of those 3 letters, not just, we need to expose the people who got HIV because they the ones that's giving it to everybody else. Yeah, okay, whatever. Now, do I feel like people who have HIV and are secretly still going through spreading the disease? Yes, we definitely do need to have a conversation about those individuals as well. But I think mainly we need to stop shunning people for having the disease, and we need to educate ourselves about it, and we need to know what it entails, and we need to go out and get tested because we're so scared of the goddamn disease. But we're not scared to keep jumping from bed to bed or having risky behavior that can cause us to be at risk to have HIV. So I feel like if we were scared, like we claim to be scared when we hear those 3 letters being HIV, when we hear those letters, if we're scared to say those letters and if we're scared to even mention the letter HIV, we need to be just as scared as having risky behavior. And we need to be scared about not getting tested because it's not like the 80s when they didn't have a lot of information about this disease. It's a lot of people, y'all, running around with HIV and they're living healthy lives, healthy lives, the healthiest people that you could ever come across. And yes, they have HIV. And on top of that, so many people have HIV. I don't know why people think that you can look at someone and tell that they have HIV. It doesn't have a look. Okay. I want to talk about all of these rumors and misconceptions of what this disease is and talk about the facts, and let's kind of like break down the science of it. And of course, I'm going to include clips, but to just kind of lighten the situation and get y'all in the mood, I got to play some music from my boy Black Magic to the Dirt. Got to play some of his music real quick. So y'all just sit tight and make sure y'all paying close attention to this episode today because it's a necessary conversation that we could not talk about enough, and that's HIV.
Yeah. Hey, come on. You ain't ready for the comeback. Black magic to the dirt. I'ma hit it where it hurt. Black magic to the dirt. I'ma hit it where it hurt. a minute since I've been up in the spotlight, but I bet that I can still move the crowd. True definition of an MC. If you don't agree, then you need to move around. They be like, Black, you gotta give the people what they want. I be like, man, that's garbage. What you need to do is stay true to yourself. If you don't, then they gon' rock with you regardless. I'm a little old for the Millie Rock, but I guarantee my popularity will still increase. If you want sauce, then you need to take a trip to the city. Go to Hell Chic and pick up a 6-piece. Everybody anticipating on the return to Black. Once a minute, ain't no turning back. Nothing but burn the tracks and turn the stacks to a meal ticket. Ain't no way you finna deal with it. Ain't no such thing as a new me. Ain't another man that can do me. Forever I'ma represent 2-3. Thinking I'ma fall, you a goofy. Ain't no such thing as a new me. Ain't another man that can do me. Forever I'ma represent 2-3. Thinking I'ma fall, you a goofy. Get ready for the comeback. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. Get ready for the comeback. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. When you see me, better run that. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. When you see me, better run that. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. Everybody thought that I was done, hoping I had nothing left to show. I was forced to take a crucial break to make sure that my ducks was in a row. You would never make it in this game unless your normal life is good to go. Now I'm back on the scene and the crowd loves it. Give me the rock cause I'm about to blow. Indiana wasn't ready when I came with the 45. They was hoping that I stayed away. I'm a veteran now, so instead of taking it straight to the hoop, hit them with a fade away. So many similar traits between Magic and Mike. We got the determination to be the best. When we in the zone, we don't never see the rest. I'm a born when there ain't no way that I can second guess. It don't matter what you say. Every time I pick up a mic, they give me the respect of a sensei. I'm a trendsetter. Only a matter of time for somebody rip me like Kobe did MJ. You be thinking that it's all a game, telling yourself that we all the same until you see that you're not on my level when they forget to call your name at the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. Ain't no such thing as a new me. Ain't another man that can do me. Forever I'ma represent 2-3. Thinking I'ma fall, you a goofy. Ain't no such thing as a new me. Ain't another man that can do me. Forever I'ma represent 2-3. Thinking I'ma fall, you a goofy. Get ready for the comeback. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. Get ready for the comeback. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. When you see me, better run that. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. When you see me, better run that. Jordan 45, Jordan 45. Ain't no such thing as a new man. Forever I'ma represent 2-3. Thinking I'ma fall, you a goofy. Get ready for the comeback.
Yes, y'all. That was my boy, Black Magic to the Dirt. And that was Jordan 45, baby. That's my favorite song by him. Jordan 45. Jordan 45. Hey. But yes, let me get back serious and get into the information about HIV. So, I know a lot of you probably already know, but let's start first by explaining what HIV is. HIV is a virus that is spread through certain bodily fluids that attacks the body's immune system, specifically the CD4 cells, often called the T cells. And over time, HIV can destroy so many cells that the body can fight off that the body can't fight off infections and diseases. So basically, that is what HIV is. And I'm pulling this information up, y'all, from the CDC.com. And the CDC is basically the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention. And that's typically supposed to be a very respected site, a respected source where you get information about diseases all across the world. So the CDC is a website that is supposed to be here saving lives and protecting people. So yes, you could go to cdc.gov and you can pull up information about HIV/AIDS. So yes, that's basically what it does, though. HIV is a virus that attacks your T blood cells, and basically your immune system can't fight off any infections. Like even something as simple as a cold can kind of be fatal for you without taking any medications for the HIV virus. So the next question that people probably want to know is where HIV comes from. And so in this website, it says scientists have identified a type of chimpanzee in Central Africa as the source of the HIV infection in humans. They believe that the chimpanzee version of the immune deficiency virus most likely was transmitted to humans and mutated into HIV when humans hunted these chimpanzees for meat and came in contact with their infected blood. And studies show that HIV may have jumped from apes to the humans as far back as late 1800s, so to speak. I won't get into my conspiracy theories because I am a conspiracy theorist at its finest. So, of course, during the duration of this episode, I will be including clips to kind of support or spark more interest in people to do more research about this disease, because they're constantly every day finding out new things about this disease and the stages, and just kind of it's kind of one of those things that it will never be enough information about it. So yes, I definitely want to make sure I'm including a lot of different tips and medical opinions in this duration of the episode. So, like a lot of the other diseases, HIV has different stages. So there's stage 1, that's the acute HIV infection, and that's within the 2 to 4 weeks after the infection um, with HIV. The person probably, gets their symptoms. That's usually when their symptoms come out. So you have like flu-like illness. It probably lasts for a few weeks. This is the body's natural response to the infection when people have that HIV infection. And so that's the first stage when you start experiencing those symptoms. And then there's stage 2, and this period is sometimes called the as- asymptomatic HIV infection or the chronic HIV infection. And during this phase, it's active, but it produces very low levels. So they may not have any symptoms or get sick at all during this time. And for people who taking the medicine to treat the HIV, this period can last for decades or longer. So you may never have any symptoms if you're taking the medication for HIV during stage 2. Stage 3 is the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which really that's AIDS. And so AIDS is the most severe case of HIV infection, and people with AIDS have such badly damaged immune system that they get an increased number of severe illnesses called the opportunist illness. So AIDS is probably like one of the most severe stages that you could have of HIV. What is going on here? Something's playing. Oh crap! Sorry. The other episodes playing in the background. But yes, I don't know why I keep doing it. But yes, those are the stages of HIV. And yes, those are it's only 3 stages of it, so to speak, that they know of right now. And so what I want to do now is kind of tell you guys like what you should do as far as testing. How often should you be tested? Because you really don't know if you have HIV. Like, because a lot of people who end up having HIV haven't experienced any symptoms at all. They never had any symptoms at all. So you could possibly have symptoms and you could possibly not have symptoms. So the only for sure way to make sure that you do or don't have HIV is to go and get tested. And there's so many testing centers that you could go to. You can actually, let me pull up the source for this. 1 second. You can actually get tested for free at a lot of places. And I know I recently just got tested. I went to the hospital for something else, like a minor infection or something like that. I don't know. And immediately when I went to the hospital, they was like, well, we do free HIV testing. I'm like, oh, okay. And of course, every time you get tested, you're nervous, you're nervous. So immediately they drew my blood and they tested me right there on the spot. And of course I was negative, but it's still a scary thing. But what they're trying to do now is offer that test for free for a lot of people. And so that test, I wasn't billed. My insurance wasn't billed for that test because it was free as I went to the hospital. So yeah, it's a lot of places that are offering the testing for free. And so what I'm going to do now, if you're in the Indianapolis area, because that's where I'm at first, you can go. Let me see. There's free HIV testing at the Damien Center Monday through Saturday. And they have a lot of different testing locations and hours, but it's free, it's confidential. They even offer counseling and all of those things. And Walgreens, a lot of the Walgreens, you can get tested for HIV at Walgreens. You could buy the little oral swabs at the store. So it's plenty of ways that you can get tested for HIV, and it's real simple. And the moment that you get tested, at that point, you'll know what you need to do. Like, if you have the disease, they have counselors there for you. And if you don't have the disease, it's still good to make sure that you're educating yourself and trying to know as much about the disease as possible to kind of reduce those risks. So what I'm going to do now is play a clip about this disease that'll kind of break it down a lot better than what I'm doing. Yes, you guys, that was a clip that I pulled up from YouTube, and it was called The Science of HIV/AIDS. And you could actually subscribe that channel. It's called ASAP Science. And he kind of just jumbled everything together, including the medications, the cures that they're trying to come up with, etc. And I want to get a little bit more in depth about HIV treatments and AIDS, treatments and AIDS, treatments and cures. And so I'm going to play one more clip that's going to kind of touch on it and explain it a lot better than me, because I keep telling y'all, look, I'm no school teacher, baby. I'm just a messenger. And you know how when Moses had a stuttering problem, he sent Aaron with Moses? Well, guess what, baby? They gave me the internet. The internet speaks when I can't speak. The internet explains what I can't explain. And so I got YouTube to back me up. You feel me? So I want to play a clip. I got another clip that I want to play. And make sure y'all pay close attention to this clip. It's going to kind of break things down a little bit better.
HIV positive means that the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, or HIV antibodies have been detected in the body through a test. On the other hand, HIV negative means that the test conducted did not show the presence of HIV virus or any kind of antibodies. However, being HIV negative is not confirmation that the individual does not have HIV. HIV status test. The HIV status of an individual can be easily determined through a simple blood test, either an antibody test or an RNA test. An oral test for HIV detection is also available, in which cheek tissues are swabbed by the doctor and the results are confirmed within 15-20 minutes. In 2007, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, included the HIV antibody test in routine care for individuals seeking medical attention for any reason, as a preventative measure to curb the rise. Dr. Chinkol Thangsing, Agency for Community Care and Development, New Delhi, advises, knowing the HIV status of your partner through the test is important, as it considerably reduces the risk of getting infected. HIV negative. When an individual gets infected, the body's response mechanism automatically produces antibodies to fight the virus. A negative HIV report normally means that the person is as healthy as before. However, varying from individual to individual, the body may take up to 6 weeks to produce antibodies for the virus. In such cases, there is a high possibility that the body has caught the infection, but has not yet produced antibodies. In some other cases, it is possible that the level of antibodies is too insignificant to get registered on a test. HIV positive. Initially, HIV positive individuals may not show any symptoms. In fact, They may appear absolutely healthy from their external appearance, so much so that most HIV positive patients may not know about their status until after being verified. However, once the presence of the HIV virus is affirmed, positive steps should be taken towards managing the critically life-threatening disease. Post-diagnosis, it is recommended to meet a doctor to assess the progression of the virus. Thereafter, proper treatment and medication should be taken to combat its potential hazards. According to a recent research by the Institute of Liver Studies, London, there was no difference in the survival rates of HIV positive and HIV negative patients following a liver transplant. The study has come as good news for HIV positive patients as it suggests a reasonably good prognosis, preventing HIV infection. To prevent HIV infection from spreading, knowledge of the HIV status of your sex partner is important. In most cases, HIV is usually transmitted through semen, vaginal fluids or blood. Besides sexual transmission, the HIV virus is most commonly spread through shed or infected needles, especially in cases where the HIV status is unknown. Safe sex practices are highly recommended.
Yes, y'all. So a couple of things that clip pointed out in that I just played. The first thing is, just because your HIV test says that you are HIV negative does not mean that you do not have HIV, because sometimes, like it said in that clip, the antibodies take a while to build up into your body. So it could be like 3 months. It says 6 weeks, but it's up to like 3 months that your test could actually show that you have HIV. So that's why sometimes people go so long, because people typically get checked, yearly for those type of things. But I feel like if you're um, out and about and you're at high risk, doing different things, you probably should get checked maybe even twice a year. They have HIV Day, which I'm gonna make sure I make mention of later on into the episode. But it's very important, the part about getting tested, because the longer that you wait to get tested, the further the disease progresses and it hits different stages. So, you know, that's what the stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 is all about. So, the sooner you get tested, the better, the more you can be proactive into taking care of your body, getting the medications you need to take, etc., so that you can keep living healthy and long. And so, I want to talk about the different treatments associated with HIV. HIV treatment involves taking medicines that slow the progress of the virus in your body. And HIV is a type of virus that is called a retrovirus. And so the drugs used to treat it are called antiretrovirals. So to abbreviate that name, is ARMs. Hold on, sorry. Let me turn this down. That was too loud. The acronyms is that are ARVs, excuse me, not ARMs. But yeah, these drugs, they're given in a combination with other ARVs, and this combination therapy is called anti antiretroviral therapy. And so those acronyms are ART. And y'all, I'm pulling this information, I'm reading it directly from HIV.gov. So if you want to know more about the treatments associated with HIV, you can go to HIV.gov and it'll talk about the treatments. And it's also stating that even though it's not a cure for HIV, the ART medications can help you live healthy for many, many years and can greatly reduce your chances of transmitting HIV. Now, like that man mentioned in the clip, that one asshole who had the power, he raised one of the HIV medications from $13.50 to $750 a pill. So, um, that is one of the issues that I have with the disease is, anytime that they have a medication that's really good that works, they always try to raise the prices on it. But now in 2018, they have so many different treatment options, and people are starting to take better care of their diets and getting more active, uh, as far as like exercising, which helps you overall um, contributes to you having good health. So that's important as well, to eat a balanced diet, to be doing exercise, and just making sure that your body is getting as much nutrients in as it needs to kind of help build your immune system, even though it's weakening from the HIV infection. And so, to try to figure out which medications work for you, you should definitely talk to your healthcare providers. They'll help you find the right treatments, and you can also do your research about these medications before taking them as well, because oftentimes, sometimes even the doctors don't know what will work. They kind of like play around with medications. So it will kind of help you if you do your research before just jumping onto meds. Now, I know people are like, well, what about the side effects of the medicine? I know the medicine got hella side effects. Well, yeah, of course they have side effects, but not everyone will experience side effects. So, it's definitely circumstantial and it's different from person to person. So, I know that it's easier said than done, but you guys, we have to do better at getting tested. We need to make sure that we're getting tested. We need to make sure we're taking care of our bodies, and we need to make sure we're communicating with people. I'm not going to tell people who have HIV that you need to come forward and tell people and whoop this, whoop that, because one of the reasons why people don't come forward and tell people that they have HIV is because of the way that our community treats their people. Why do you feel the need to treat people with HIV like they're just horrible people? Because sometimes not everybody who has caught or come in contact with HIV was being risky. Sometimes their partner could have been being risky, and they could have been being a faithful person at home, and this person steadily putting them at risk every day for HIV. And so for all of the women out here, and I'm telling you this because I'm a woman too, for all of the women out here who believe that we can do the same exact thing as men do, I'm gonna tell you now, we need to make sure that we're not being as risky as these men, because we're at higher risk because our organs are internal. So I'll put it to you like this. I'll give you an example. Anybody in the medical field knows that MRSA lives on your hands. MRSA just lives on your hands. So that's why they tell you in the nursing homes or hospitals or any of the healthcare field, they tell you always constantly to keep washing your hands. So if you know that, MRSA can't give you an infection and get into your body until what? Until you have a cut. So that in order for that MRSA to get into your body, you have to have a cut so it could get in. So that's kind of what like having a vagina is like for us. It's like we have an open cut all the time, so we have to be extra cautious about what we allow in there. And I'm not letting these men off limits. You men's, y'all be running around here with these dirty hands. I'm talking about your penises. Y'all be running around here with these dirty hands, and y'all just going and screwing everything walking. We gotta quit being risky like that and just sleeping with everything unprotectedly. We need to make sure that we're using protection. We need to slow down with all of this sex. We need to slow down with the drug use, and we need to make sure um, that we're educating ourselves to the different ways that you can get it. Because, and then even sometimes it could be blood transfusions. Because see, back in the 80s, that's how it really got widespread like that. To this day, people will say they don't know exactly how it got bad like that, but there's a documentary that I want y'all to take some time to watch. It's on Netflix. It's called 25 to Life. And the man on there, his name is William Brenner. And William Brenner caught HIV when he was 18 months old. His babysitter was watching him. And back in the day, I don't know if y'all remember, but I definitely remember because it was still like this in the 90s. Back in the day, the water in the bathtub used to get really, really, really hot. So he got like some severe burns and end up having to be in the children's hospital for a long time. So he almost died from the burns of that hot water in the bathtub. And so because of that, when he was in that hospital, he had to get a blood transfusion. Now around that time, uh, the I want to say the Jewish Association. I can't remember exactly, so I shouldn't quote, but it's in the film. So just watch 25 to Life. But the medical it was a big thing that the medical system had got a bad batch of blood, like a lot of bad batches of blood. And so a lot of people were injected with the HIV infection because of the blood transfusions. And so, now they say that it's a lot safer to take other people's blood, and they do all of these tests and they let it do that. But I think people should make sure. I'm not telling people not to get blood transfusions, y'all. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. However, just do your research if that's something that you have the opportunity to do, because I know that in emergency situations you have to be fast and just use your own decision. But I think that you should definitely, just for your own safety, because anything can happen to any of us, do your research about blood transfusions, and do your research about how HIV is transmitted. And yeah, just make sure that we're constantly educating ourselves and making sure that we are not out here bashing people who have HIV, because they're still human beings. How do we expect to have those conversations and get educated and to stop putting people at risk if we're going to treat people that have the disease in a certain type of way and annihilate them, and constantly bash them and make them feel bad for it? Because like I said, a lot of times, you know, we really don't know what the other person's situation was, what got them to that point. So I think what they could use, what a person who is suffering from HIV could use, is some support. Not support as far as like if they out here still just being very risky, but some support is trying to understand their disease and not treating them different like an outcast. And so, no, you can't catch HIV from kissing. No, you can't catch HIV from standing next to somebody, hugging somebody, breathing the same air as them. And so we need to stop treating people that way. And then we need to also stop trying to, if we know somebody has it, treating them bad and treating them different. But the persons, it's so many people running around with it that's keeping it a secret. How could you really know who is infected? And so I think that in our communities, we do need to be having these conversations. We need to stop being scared to talk about HIV like it's something that is from the past, or something that's just like it's the end of the world, because we don't treat cancer that way. And we know the moment that you catch cancer, or the moment that you're diagnosed with cancer, a lot of times it can mean two things. You're going to have a lot of treatments, or you could possibly die from cancer. I've lost a lot of people I really cared about and loved due to cancer. And see, what any illness, people need support. It's a scary thing. Every day probably is different from someone who is walking with that disease. And I know that it's not easy. So, to any of my listeners out there who is suffering from HIV, cancer, or any illness that is keeping you depressed and you don't have the support, all I got to say is Quamo love y'all. Quamo love y'all. And if it's something that I can do to support y'all, I will, even if it's just being a listening ear and doing so with confidentiality. Quamo love y'all. I just want y'all to know that. So yes, I definitely want y'all to make sure that y'all watching that 25 to Life documentary, because he in that documentary, he ended up he had the virus. So he had it from the time he was 18 months old to now, and he never told anybody. He had girlfriends and everything, y'all. And so I'm bringing this up to tell y'all this. So what I learned from that documentary is that, he was taking his HIV medication for so long. So when you take the HIV medication, what it does is reduces the amount of antibodies in your body. And so when he was getting with these certain peoples, sometimes his HIV test was showing up negative. So as long as you're taking your medications, it's reducing the antibodies in your body, so your test will show up that you HIV negative, even if you positive. That's the sorcery about this disease. There's so much stuff that isn't clear and so many things that we don't understand. This is why I definitely want to make sure that I'm steadily educating myself about it, because it's puzzling to me. It's like we have this disease that kind of like discriminates on who is infected by it the most, so to speak. Well, I shouldn't say that. Lord forgive me, because I don't mean it like that. But what I'm saying is they say that it's an issue that affects. Let me pull up the statistics so I can tell y'all exactly the statistics of HIV. That way you will get it right from the horse's mouth. So again, I'm going back to the CDC. According to the CDC, it says African Americans account for the higher portion of HIV diagnosis of those living with HIV and those who have ever had AIDS, and we make up 44% of the diagnosis, even though we only make up 12%. Well, we was at 13%, but I guess we lost a percent. We make up 12% of the US population, and out of the 44% of HIV diagnosis, out of all of the diagnosis, African Americans, we make up 44%. So that's almost half of the cases of HIV affects our community. And so an even higher percentage, that's saying more than 58% that were diagnosed with this disease were gay or bisexual men. And so that's what is so alarming to me about this disease, and why we need to make sure we're doing more research and seeing what we can do to prevent the measures and support those who are suffering from this. Because how does this disease discriminate on who it gets? Black people are not the only people who have risky sexual behavior. Everybody is around here screwing. If you don't believe me, watch porn, okay? Everybody is around here screwing. So why is it so popular in the Black community and in the LGBT community? Why is it majority of the cases there? And that's according to the statistics from the CDC. This is not me saying this. This is from the CDC. So I got to play a clip about that as well, because I told y'all I am a conspiracy theorist. I do feel like this issue is bigger than what we understand sometimes. And I think we definitely need to make sure we are being proactive, very, very proactive, and stopping the spreading of this. So let's do that. Let me play this clip.
The epidemic has not ended in the United States. It's only changed in who it impacts.
Black people make up 13% of the U.S. population, but over 50% of all new cases of HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. That infection rate is 8 times the rate of whites.
In America, AIDS is virtually a Black disease by every measure.
Black women are 23 times more likely to be diagnosed with AIDS than white women.
We should be in the streets. Everybody should be in the streets. Everybody should be freaked out.
As of 2004, more than 200,000 African Americans have died. Still, despite these stunning statistics, AIDS is a topic that remains underground in Black America.
Silence is now suicide. The Black American silence on this issue is suicidal.
In the future, people will look back at our generation and say, what were they thinking?
Good evening. I'm Terry Moran. There are times in the news when we're not watching or listening closely enough, when we miss a story, a big, important story that goes underreported, mostly ignored. This is one of those stories. Let me give you one more statistic. AIDS is the leading cause of death among Black American women ages 25 to 44, and it has been for 11 years. Last year, Peter Jennings began this report, and some of his work appears later in this program. It is my privilege to have picked up where Peter left off. Now, in the course of our reporting on this crisis, we discovered 5 important reasons that AIDS among African Americans is out of control. And as we explore them tonight, we'll talk about sex and race, neglect and denial. It's all certain to make some people uncomfortable, but this crisis demands attention now. The first reason AIDS is out of control among African Americans is ignorance. Ignorance among people in power. Ignorance among people who should know better. Take a look at this. In October 2004, when Vice President Dick Cheney and Democratic challenger John Edwards took the stage to debate, moderator Gwen Ifill asked them this question.
Mr. Vice President, in particular, I want to talk to you about AIDS, and not about AIDS in China or Africa, but AIDS right here in this country, where Black women between the ages of 25 and 44 are 13 times more likely to die of the disease than their counterparts. What should the government's role be?
When you asked it of the Vice President, what were you expecting?
You know, I really was expecting that he'd have an answer. I was expecting that both of them would say this is something we must address, and in my administration, we will.
Well, this is a great tragedy when you think about the enormous cost here in the United States and around the world of the AIDS epidemic. I had not heard those numbers with respect to African American women. I was not aware that it was that severe an epidemic there.
I was surprised and frustrated because of the constraints of the debate. I couldn't say, what? I couldn't say, how can that be, Mr. Vice President? And I was equally surprised that the Democrat had no answer. Senator Edwards, you have 90 seconds.
Yes, well, first, with respect to what's happening in Africa and Russia and other places around the world.
Senator Edwards didn't seem to know much about the epidemic in Black America either.
AIDS.
From just about the beginning.
Yes.
Almost a quarter century.
Right.
Did you see this coming in the Black American community?
Yes. You could see it coming. All you have to do is just sit down and think about it in pure, cold, infectious disease terms. It's a infectious disease that's transmitted by sexual contact, both homosexual sex, men who have sex with men, heterosexual contact, and injection drug use. So the handwriting was on the wall for quite a long time.
If the government's most important AIDS scientists could see this crisis coming so clearly, why has there been no government policy or program aimed specifically at stopping the epidemic in Black America? In fact, some government policies have made the problem worse. And that brings us to the second reason the African American epidemic has gotten out of control: government failure. AIDS first took hold in the Black community 25 years ago, in the inner cities, among addicts shooting intravenous drugs.
The first time I did, somebody kept telling me, you should try, you would like it. And he put the drugs in me. Now I'm 17 years old and he did this to me.
Addicts sharing needles with other addicts spread the disease fast before anyone really understood that this was a way to get infected.
My mother, she passed away from HIV.
Sad that it seems, though.
Then in the 1980s came the war on drugs, new state and federal laws that unintentionally sent the epidemic into overdrive. The war on drugs meant sending thousands more street-level drug offenders to prison, men who were more likely to be infected with HIV from dirty needles. Since 1980, the U.S. prison population has quadrupled.
We're doing mass incarcerations of Black men in America. More college-age Black men are in prison than are in college. Many of them go into prison HIV negative, come out HIV positive, and we don't have a strategy to deal with this.
Prisons are notorious breeding grounds for HIV. Infection rates are 5 times higher than outside the walls. Sex between men in prison has been the subject of only a handful of studies, but one study by a national police organization found that at least 40% of inmates had had sex with another man in prison. And despite strong evidence that condoms reduce the spread of AIDS, they are forbidden in all federal and most state and local prisons.
To make condoms available in prison would be to admit that sex occurs in prison. And for some reason, the prisons don't want to say that happens. But if we want to encourage HIV transmission, it's the perfect policy. I think that would be the way to do it.
In most prisons, testing is voluntary. AIDS activists say that's because if an inmate tests positive, he has a right to treatment, and the prisons don't want to pay the high cost. So men can leave prison infected with HIV and never know it. And most men say when they leave prison, they'll resume having sex with women.
Well, I've looked at rates of incarceration throughout the state of North Carolina, 100 counties. And in those counties where the rates are highest, the rates of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV are also highest. So there's a relationship, a direct relationship between these two. All of this is the perfect storm for HIV. All of it comes together to create a situation where HIV could hardly be better off.
Back on the streets, any serious attempts by government to bring the epidemic in Black America under control have been haphazard and underfunded. There is one approach that has proven successful in other countries: needle exchange. In a few American cities like Baltimore, AIDS activists started needle exchange programs where addicts could trade in dirty needles for clean ones.
All right, let's grab this in the shop.
Yes, y'all, that was a documentary on YouTube that I pulled up, and it was called Out of Control, the AIDS Epidemic in Black America. When you get some time, y'all, 2 things I want y'all to do after listening to this episode today. I want you to, 3 things. It's a few things. I'm going to name a list of things. This is what I want y'all to do after this episode. Number 1, do some research. Do some research about HIV and go get tested. That's number 2. Do some research, get tested, know your status. The third thing that I want you to do, if you know someone who is living in who has and is living with HIV, give them your love and support. Don't treat them like an outcast. Make sure that you're treating them with respect and dignity. Do not disrespect people and bash people for having HIV. That is fucking stupid in middle school. They are still human beings. They still need our love and support. And we could learn a lot from them about how to combat this disease and how we can change um, certain things that is putting us at risk. And so I want y'all also the last 2 things that I want y'all to do. I want y'all to watch Out of Control, the AIDS epidemic in Black America to its entirety on YouTube. And I want y'all to watch 25 to Life, the documentary about William Brenner to its entirety. And that is on Netflix. Do what y'all can, y'all. Do your research, get tested. It's not the end of the world. For those of you who are out there living with HIV, my love is with y'all. My heart is with y'all. And, yes, we're going to get through this. Like everything else, my Black people, we're going to get through this. We're going to do research. We're going to do what we can so that we don't be ignorant to this disease. And we're going to get rid of this shit. We're going to get this shit up out of our communities. It don't belong with us, okay? All of that negative bullshit that they got with us, we're going to remove that shit, y'all, because it don't belong with us, okay? It don't belong with us. It's no reason why we should be making up 44% of nobody's HIV and AIDS population. Okay? And Black women's, it's no reason for us to be making up 23% of those cases. Okay? We shouldn't be making up that much percent of it. And a lot of it, y'all, that's why I really want y'all to watch it to its entirety. It was a woman on there. She had it and she was sleeping with nobody but her husband. Well, her child's father. That was the only man she was sleeping with. And they talk about how it's easier for you to get infected when it's a small town or it's a small community because everybody's sleeping with the same individual. So if that one person is infected, everybody gets infected. And so with women, like I told y'all once before, we have an opening and it's like we have a cut. So we have to protect that cut at all times to keep it clean so that it doesn't become infected. So that's why personally, I ain't sleeping around. I ain't been with nobody in almost 4 years. I'm too scared. I'm too scared to be around here sleeping around and stuff because people just don't tell the truth. And this is something that is a serious thing in our communities. It's hard for people to be honest about what they're doing sexually. So if you got a partner out here, talk with your partner. If you married out here, talk with your wife, talk with your husband, and stop just screwing everybody, okay? And if you're out here doing your thing, keep yourself protected. Wrap it up, okay? Wrap it up. Don't be up here. And this is what bothers me with people in my community. Everybody be scared when them 3 letters get mentioned, HIV. But ain't nobody scared to be jumping around these motherfucking beds like a bed bug. And that's what we need to stop doing. We don't have to be just jumping from bed to bed. Sure, I had my fun. Sure, I've done my stuff in the past. But baby, when you get to a certain age and you know better, you do better, baby. You do better. Let's do better, y'all. We can do it. We can fucking do it. We can do it. It's a lot more to it, but we can do it. And the first step, because I know I'm ignorant to a lot of it. I'm ignorant to a lot of things, but I'm doing what I can to change that. I want to educate myself and I want to share what I learned with others. So let's do that. Let's reach one. Let's teach one. And let's remove all of this negative bullshit away from my people and my communities. We deserve better. We've been through too much as a people. It's time for us to stop reverting backwards and letting things overtake us. Let's conquer all this shit. Okay? Well, I'm going to end this episode because y'all know I don't like to do them for a full hour. So if you listen to this in its entirety, thank you very much for listening to the Queen Quaymo podcast. I rocks with y'all. I fucks with y'all. I love y'all. And I know I said I was going to stop cursing, but I lied. I'll stop on the next episode, okay? But tune in tomorrow. Actually, I won't be doing one tomorrow. I won't be doing my next one until Monday. Monday's episode will be about cancer. And I have a lot of other different interviews lined up for you guys as well. So, yes, I'm going to end this song playing my boy The Blaze song. You feel me? Check out my boy The Blaze. You feel me? Check out my boy Black Magic to the Dirt, too, because y'all know I love him. You know, we go way back. Shout outs to y'all.
DJ Swift on the BK. That's real. You know we got still. Nigga, we do drills. F3, that's real. This what it is. Nigga, this what it is. Quando, that's That's real. You know we got still. Nigga, we rest in peace, money. I call it Quando. Quando Street. So much pain in my heart because I've been through a lot. The other day, this bitch I love said she hope I'ma die. Deep down, she probably mean it, but she telling a lie. Cause when I'm gone, ain't no coming back, I'm high in the sky. When my granny left the world, that fucked me up as a kid. When I see my mama did that, fucked me up in the head. When I see my brother bleed, that's when the demon exists. My sister see my brother lean on MBK for the shit. My baby mama used to draw while I was busting the Glock. She put me on child support and started fucking my ops. They say don't never trust a bitch, and now I think I know why. If you don't let them see you sweat, that's when the harder they try. I was trying to blow the hood up when we lost fat. My mama prayed every night, cause she knew I was stressed. Chopper City, rest in peace, that's my brother, no less. He linked the nigga up with murder, we was making a mess. In the trenches, in the field, giving it all my best. Run around in my Chevy, where these fuck niggas at? In the trap for the cheese, but I don't fuck with a rat. A nigga disrespect Quan, that's when a nigga get wet. When my auntie Barbara died, that's when my mama broke. She was feeling how I'm feeling, couldn't take it no more. And when my mama April died, that's when my brother broke. He was feeling how I'm feeling, he was ready to go. In the field with the blinks, he was ready to scope. A nigga took him out his glow, now I'm ready for woe. Ain't no screaming fuck his ops, bitch, I do it for dough. April World, Quando Streets, bitch, I do it for bro. In the berries, nigga, we posted on that dance pack, we smoking. If a nigga think we joking, leave that fuck nigga wide open. Go in this crib, catch him loafing, leave him wet like an ocean. Knock them dreads off his head since he think he cheats Sosa. You ain't ballin', nigga, the money callin', nigga. Fuck 12, fuck the judge and they daughters, nigga. You got a problem, nigga, okay, let's solve it, nigga. Line them up, take them out, it's fuck all them niggas. In my Chevy, nigga, I'm riding. Them fuck niggas ain't known shit. Them BBM niggas sliding. Got Max with them long. If you MBK for Dosey, take his head off, that's your trophy. If you 30-30 for red, make them niggas run like roaches. This what it is, but nigga, this what it is. I can get you killed, a nigga, and that's real. You know we got still, a nigga, we do drills. I can get you killed, a nigga, and that's real. The real. This what it is, but nigga, this what it is. I can get you killed, a nigga, and that's real. You know we got still, a nigga, we do drills. I can get you killed, a nigga, and that's real. The real.